watching this video, it's because you've missed the lesson on graphing using slope-intercept form, or maybe you just need some extra help on a quiz or something. You really need to make sure that you understand how to find the slope and the y-intercept on the slope-intercept form of an equation. If you're not sure what that even means, you need to go watch the video before this one. So I'm going to go forward assuming you know how to do that. So let's take a look at this. Here are my steps. My very first step is something we're not going to worry about right now, which is that you want to write the equation so that it's in slope-intercept form. That means you want y to be completely by itself. If y is not by itself, this whole formula is not going to work. The other thing is that you want to then plot the y-intercept as a point on the y-axis. So it means you need to have identified the slope and the y-intercept. Then, once we've done that, it's going to be a positive number goes on the positive part of the y-axis, that big vertical line. A negative number goes on the negative part of that y-axis. We're going to use the slope, rise over run, to plot additional points. And I'm going to kind of show you how that works. You're going to connect the points, and then you're going to draw arrows on the end of your line. So, let's take a look at one of these. I've got this equation here, right? And the very first step we want to do is we want to find m, our slope, and b, our y-intercept, right? Okay, so if I take a look, we always remember that our m is the number that is literally touching the x. So in this case, it is a positive 1/2. Our b, our y-intercept, is whatever number is the other number in that equation that's not touching the x, sign and all. So it is a -2. Now, we're going to plot b. So if we're going to plot b, if it's a -2, it means on the y-axis it's going to go on the -2 point. So if it was a +2, it would have gone on the +2, but it is a -2, so it's going to go there. Now, our next step is we're going to use our slope. So here's the thing. Slope, as you want to remember, is rise over run. That means our 1 is our rise, 2 is our run. When you are plotting, you need to think about whether or not the slope is positive or negative, because that is going to affect how you're going to graph it. So for instance, a positive slope. If it's a positive slope, right, it's a positive slope, that means we want the line to look like this. So to keep that in mind. So we're going to use rise over run. What that means is we want both of our directions to essentially be going the same kind of way. They're both positive. So we're going to go up 1 and to the right 2. Because that's rise 1, run 2. Now, if we wanted to go the other way, we went left, which is a negative direction, you'd want to go down 1 and over 2 to the left. So when you do a positive slope, you have two options. You either go upright or you go down left to get your 2 points. Now that we have that, our last step is going to be to draw a line. So we're going to connect those points, have our arrows at our end, and we're done. So again, it's find the slope, find the y-intercept, plot b, use our slope to graph. If it's a positive slope, it's upright or down left. You have both positive, both negative. And then you're going to draw a line connecting those points. It doesn't need to be pretty, and have your arrows at the end, all right? So here's what we're going to do. I want you to pause, and I want you to try this one on your own, okay? So I'm going to assume that you paused. We're going to follow through, right? So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to identify my slope. That is that 1/3 here. And then I am going to figure out my y-intercept, my b. that it says positive 4. Now I'm going to graph that positive 4. So I almost put it on negative 4, but it is a positive 4. And now my slope, we're going to use it as rise over run. We do have a positive slope, so that means our options are, I'll put it on the right side. We're going to have one point that's going to be upright, and we're going to have one point that's going to be down left. So if we go up 1, we're going to go to the right 3, and then we're going to go down 1 and to the left 3. We want to make sure our line, when we draw it connecting our points, looks like a positive slope, looks like it's going up. Okay? So you might ask, well, what does it look like if it's going down? And I'm going to show you guys that. I'm also going to show you guys something that comes up that I want to make sure we're kind of comfortable with. So we're going to go through our same steps here. Very first step, we're going to find M, our slope, and B, our y-intercept. Right? So I'm taking a look. My slope is a negative 3, and my B is a negative 5. So again, here's my B, here's my M. Okay. So far so good. Now, we're going to plot B. Then negative 5, so it's going to go on the negative 5 of the y-axis. But now my issue is that when I use slope, one, I have a negative slope, which is a little wonky. And two, it's a whole number. What do I do with that? Well, here's the thing. Remember when we did negative reciprocal? Every whole number can be made a fraction. So I'm going to put that over 1 and boom, I got my rise over run. Now, you might go, well, it's negative. What does that mean? With a negative slope, that means we want our line to look like this. So what that means is that they need to be in different kind of directions, a positive direction and a negative direction. So if we're going to the right, it's going to be down, right, or up, left. So if we're going down right, we're going down 3 and over 1 to the right. If we're going up left, it's up 3 and 1 to the left. And, oops, sorry. My next step is that we want to draw a line. So we're going to connect these. And boom, draw arrows. You always want to think, is your slope positive or negative, and what does your end result kind of look like? So with that said, I want you guys to try this one out. Pause, try it out. If you want to just watch me do it, you can do that too. So I'm going to go through this assuming you either pause or you're watching because you're like, oh, I need to do it again. So my very first step is that I got to find M, my slope, and B, my y-intercept. So if I take a look, that means that M is, yeah, let's make that a little easier to see. M is negative 5, and B plus 1. Okay? So my next step is going to be to plot B. It's a positive 1. So it's going to go here at the plus 1. And now we're going to use slope. But again, we have that issue. So we're going to have to make it into a fraction so that we can use it. So we're going to put it over 1, and we're going to remember rise over run. Now it's a negative slope, right? A negative slope, we want it to look like this. So we got to remember, it's either going to be up left, so a positive direction and a negative direction, or down right, a negative direction and a positive direction. So if I'm going up left, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, up, and then 1 to the left. And if I'm going down right, I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, down, and 1 to the right. And then, oops, I'm sorry. Got ahead of myself. Last step is going to be to draw a line. Which I kind of already did, but here, let me make it all pretty. Cool. So, that's the 2 types we're really going to go over. If you want to rewatch the video, you can rewatch it. If you have any questions, just shoot me a message, remind, email, let me know how I can help you out.